Thank you, Angela. Our next reader is Dolores Becker. She was born and raised in Wisconsin and moved to Illinois after washing out as a music major. That was in 1988, and she still considers herself to just be visiting temporarily. Excuse me. She came to Batavia as a member of the Albright Theater and moved here in 1995 with her husband and child. Since then, she has had a second child, lost both her first child and her husband, and found her true calling at the public library. Her first professional sale, a short story called Everybody Knows Dimitri, was published in the only issue of Mountain Land magazine to see print and can be checked out from the Batavia Library. She also has a story in the Fox Tales 3 anthology produced by the Fox Valley Writers Group. Dolores Becker.
Thank you. And thanks to Ann and Kevin and Brandon and everybody who makes these events happen. It takes a lot of work to pull something like this off, and your efforts are really appreciated. I'm going to read 3 poems for you tonight. The first one is called Where You Find It. At the grocery store, in the checkout line, I found a peach, sitting there in the snack rack in front of the little bags of potato chips like a deliberate counterpoint, a willful act of defiance, a message. Or not. More likely a random, thoughtless act, a mind changed at the last minute, or a pretty bauble surreptitiously snagged by a child and discovered by a parent as they unloaded the cart onto the belt and unwanted and abandoned. I mean, who has one peach in their shopping cart? Or suddenly decides they have one peach too many? Or maybe it went the other way. Mom or dad has a bag of peaches and the child removes one and leaves it there. I almost leave it there myself, but who knows how long it will sit there. A cloud of fruit flies swarms in my mind, and I pick it up. Besides, I am amused by this discovery, the momentary diversion of how did that get there? I will give it to the cashier, who will arrange for it to be put back where it belongs. What in the world feels like a peach? They call it velvety, but that's not right. Velvet is deep. You can dig your fingertips into it. Velvet is heavy. The skin of a peach is delicate, the texture so fine that if it were any finer, we would not be able to feel it. It is the very beginning, the least perceptible degree of softness. How can anyone touch a peach and not caress it? The line moves up, the person in front of me is having her turn, and I bring the peach up to my face. I'm not fooling anyone. This peach is coming with me. I touch that perfect softness with the end of my nose and inhale. If there is anything more pleasurable than the feel of a peach, it is the smell of a peach. This is the fragrance of paradise. If everybody just stopped and smelled a peach whenever they started to lose their cool, we might have a shot at world peace. World peach, marvelous, sensuous globe. Well, close enough for poetry. I hold on to the peach as I hoist my bags back into the cart and bite into it as I roll towards the door. And I am rewarded for my rescue of this one lonesome organic peach abandoned in the chip rack with a treasure greater than gold. It is exactly as ripe as it should be. Not quite far enough along to make a mess. Not one that you have to eat leaning over the sink and laughing like a kid at the glorious sloppiness of it, but ripe enough, just ripe enough. If I were as bold as I once was, or had a like-minded companion with me, I might stop right there in the middle of the supermarket and throw back my head and moan, but I walk quietly, pushing my cart with one hand and eating my perfect peach with the other, and feeling my smile spread inward. My tongue can speak no anger, no insult, nothing foul or hurtful, as long as I can still taste the flavor of that peach. The next one is called February Pedicure. My daughter and I went for pedicures yesterday. It was her sister's birthday. She would be 24, except she didn't make it through 16. We give ourselves a treat on her birthday. It varies from year to year. Under the vigorous rasp, dead skin fell off my feet like the snow piled up outside, and I wonder if I can afford to pay someone to do this for me every time I need my toenails trimmed. It is February. No one will see my painted toes for months, no one but me. But I will see their color and think of her, and I will know it is there, buried inside socks and boots, and smile. And the last one is called September Melancholy. It is September, and I can feel the melancholy gathering around the edges of my mind, accumulating in wisps and layers, like cotton candy clinging to its cardboard core, like cobwebs collecting in the corners, like fog dribbling in through the cracks in a scary movie, like the chill coming on as the sun goes down, like the shadows slowly growing as the fire dies, and like none of these at all, like nothing I can imagine or describe. I can sit here making metaphors and slinging similes all day long, and they mean nothing, just brain games, mental exercise, something to do to keep the actual feeling at bay by pretending it resembles something that can be captured in words. Words can be medicine, process, release. Sometimes finding the words and stringing them together helps me to heal, to come to terms, to understand. Other times they're just a dodge, a distraction, a way of pretending to be dealing with it while avoiding dealing with it. Art is a double-edged sword. Sometimes the only thing that maintains precarious sanity. Other times the ultimate self-indulgence, an excuse to fling in the face of reality. But I digress, which should be on my headstone, if I have a headstone. Autumn is my favorite time of year. I welcome the end of summer, and I do not dread the coming of winter. Autumn is ideal. I came into this world in October, as did one of my children, but the other one, the one who arrived in miserable February, she left us in October, shuffled off this mortal coil, as Hamlet would have it, and found what dreams may come. So when September arrives, bringing the promise of sweet relief from summer's discomforts, it brings the creeping, seeping, ever-deepening, rarely weeping, restless sleeping, vigil-keeping melancholy. Autumn is still my favorite time of year. Strange as that may seem, I do not love the autumn any less for what happened on one day in October, but I surely do not enjoy it the way I used to. I don't enjoy anything the way I used to. Some things happen after which nothing is the same, which is not to say I don't enjoy anything at all, or even that I don't enjoy anything as much as I used to. Indeed, I surely enjoy some things more, take fewer things for granted, appreciate the things I have, and accept the truth of impermanence in a way that is far more real than it used to be. It is different, that's all. I don't know any other way to describe it. I, who have always found refuge in words, made them my primary weapon in all life's battles and universal multi-purpose tool for every situation. The only trick up my sleeve has been the arm equipped with pen in hand, my all-purpose solution to everything. Throw words at it until it's better. I am disarmed, bereft, helpless, and utterly undone. No words can touch it, define it, describe it, or mitigate it. But it is not all that there is. It does not eclipse and occlude the world, not anymore. There was a time when it was joy that was relegated to the fringe, when pleasure was the lurking shadow that encroached upon my life by infinitesimal degrees. I will never again suffer what I suffered then. I can suffer this, as I have suffered it year after year since that morning in October, after which nothing would ever be the same. And so I embrace the onset of autumn, even knowing what lies ahead, the rough patch that must be gotten through. But life is full of rough patches, some rougher than others, and this one, at least, is well marked. I know full well where it is. I never know how long it will be, but I know it will end, and begin again, and end again. And sometimes it will not be well marked and just appear on any random day, and sometimes it will not be there where it is expected, on her birthday perhaps. But whenever it begins, I know it will also end, and when it ends, I know it will return. The first noble truth is suffering, but it isn't the last. The sun is shining, the leaves are turning, the apples are ripening. It is September, and I can feel it coming on. I don't know if it will just hover around me for a bit, almost like a dance, and flit away, or if it will wrap itself around me like a cloak. But either way, It will come and it will go, like the sunshine and the leaves and the apples and the autumn and all that is. Thank you.
And that's why we do this. This beautiful bird.